Turned out perfect, so we really do appreciate you taking time out of your week to be here with us. Let's see, we are very excited to hear more about Gift Georgia reading. We're very fortunate in this community to have Gift Troop reading, and so it's always exciting to know more about everything else that's going on around the state. So we look forward to that. And to get us started, we'll ask Carlton Wood to do our invocation. Please join me in the pledge. Carlton.
For those of you that know me, I like the context. And I'm going to tell you the context for this very short prayer. Some of y'all may know the name Pauline Phillips, or maybe you don't, because she is a pen name, Abigail Van Buren. You might better know her as Dear today. She actually wrote this prayer around 1950, and it wasn't actually shared with her daughter. She also made it shared it. The reason I'm sharing this short prayer is because this was beside Mr. Calloway's bed when he passed away. It was in his Bible. And it's called the Thanksgiving Prayer. You've probably all heard it before. Maybe the context will be meaningful to you. Bow your heads, please. Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for food and remember the hungry. We thank Thee for health and remember the sick. We thank Thee for friends and remember the friendless. We thank Thee for freedom and remember the enslaved. May these remembrances stir us to service, that Thy gifts to us may be used for others. Amen. United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome our guests today. Ranking next is brought in Mr. David Huddleston, Ms. Helen Rice. Mr. Childs brought in Mr. Andrew Robison. Robison, I'm sorry. Without N, though, without N. Okay, and then Ms. Mary Ann Lovejoy, Ms. Kim Myers, and Ms. Sharon Alford. Thank you for attending.
Thank you all. We're very excited to have such distinguished guests with us today, so we hope you'll come back and join us anytime. Let's see, a few announcements for birthdays and anniversaries. Sandra Booty had a birthday on Monday. She's here today. Darren has a birthday on Friday. Happy birthday. And Mike Amstad has a birthday on Sunday. So happy birthday to all of you. 12-member anniversary, we have two that will have 1 year on the 29th, and that's Glenn Clemens and Rex Campbell. And Alpha Baker, 6 years on November 17th, so last Sunday. And then Ed and Betty Biggs, 49 years on November 29th. So congratulations. Okay. Today immediately following this meeting, and it's a great way to have a makeup if you need one. Any other common announcements? John, right there.
Few different things. The first is December 14th. We'll be ringing the bell, Salvation Army bell. Right, flat, that's the equivalent of volunteering. So we'll send out and you know, bell ringers, calendar, there'll be something live where you can go ahead and sign up for time slot. But we'd like 2 ringers for each time slot, I believe it's broken down to 30-minute slot. Second announcement. Our blood drive that we would like to continue and hopefully be able to bring in 100 units a year through our club and our association. I want to go ahead and let you know some dates that are in the future. February, and you can write these down. February 24th, May 28th, and August 18th. I know these are far out, but if we go ahead and populate our calendars, I think the likelihood of participating and giving those up. So those will go out in email as well. And then T-shirt, you know, when we had our running for Rotary race, we had T-shirt orders that came in too late for us to be able to order the shirts. We've now ordered them. I've asked Connie if we could put those at the chamber. I'll send out a mass email for everyone who has one, and also a text for people to let them know days and times that they can pick them up. So 2009, if you know who you want. Thank you.
Thank you, John. We have a little bit of time, $50 before our program, so if anyone have today? I love to have you today.
Brainstorm.
Got a happy dollar, I'm coming down off of my Monday morning high. Monday morning, you're probably wondering that. Well, I'm headed to Preston and Ava in the cafeteria of Bertie Leatherby School, part of my relearning growth. And if I, a retired physician, can do it, you can do it.
Not only giving away dollars today, I'm giving away 2 mugs for $25 a piece. Downtown City Shop this Friday, 5 o'clock, and $50 in a gift for you and your spouse can spend while you sit in the shop. The winner of this needs to answer a question. The question is, this came to me at a recent downtown meeting, and I'll give you whoever can get within 10. How many businesses are in the downtown district of LaGrange?
82.
How many?
82.
No, hi, raise your hand. Chunk. No, higher. 140. Close, higher. How would you say? Yeah.
I know that you guys. We got you. So first, Nutcracker, every year, tradition. This will be December 6th through 8th at the high school, per usual. But come see lots of our new costumes that we have this year. Thanks to the very generous donors. We appreciate that. And if that's not to see, the following week, we have December 12th and 13th at LaGrange High School. We have Christmas memories. We don't think this is what you're doing, so maybe we should see that too. But and then, since you're fancy, or if you just need more to do, at the Hall of Almeida, we have storytelling on the 14th at 10:30 in the morning. So you don't have an excuse that you have, you're gonna go see the corporate side of that evening, right? From 10:30 that morning, you can see everybody. But come see us there. This is gonna be in the RCA Black Box Theater. And then a brand new event for this year, we're doing the Christmas Carol radio show. This is gonna be Thursday, Friday. This could be something you could probably do with your friends or something. But it's Thursday or Friday evening. It's going to include dinner. Your ticket price includes dinner, from Chefs Ready Eating. So you'll want to get involved in that, and maybe get a group together to come enjoy the holidays. So hope to see you at one or all of these events. Thank you. Great.
So, your LaGrange College Panthers have the second winningest season in football in school history, so we're happy. In the conference play, and should have been 7-1, but we won't talk about the game. The thing that's really neat about these football players is they play for the love of the sport, because it's Division III, and they don't get scholarship aid. But guess what scholarship aid does help them? The Walter White Scholarship Fund. So if you haven't considered giving to that, I hope you will. That's one way that you can support the players on the football team. Thanks.
So this was good. In keeping with the theme of reading, I mentioned Monday being his favorite day. I just want to, my wife gets up on Wednesday morning. She's excited about the most exciting hour of her week. And she helps with reading, helps with dog flying read, she works with church, but on Wednesday she goes to country. And she works with two students there. So, guys, if you can do that. It's really awesome. And then also with reading, we're excited at Laughlin Christian School. We just finished our community kindergarten building, and the kids are starting to occupy it this week. So we're going to be able to be a part of getting Georgia through here locally by enrolling more kindergarten kids. And about 140, 150 kindergartners there. So we're excited. They're starting to come in, and we're going to increase enrollment next year, starting in January. So I think we'll be a part of it.
Got a great update on George Bailey. I'm Miss Daniela. George Bailey in the heart tree. Number 3, and they are at Vanderbilt. We had a procedure on yesterday, and he's doing well. And he's ready to come home. Yes. Well, our received a wonderful, outstanding award for International Dyslexia Association for her tremendous contribution to dyslexia. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Ellen. Fabulous. And who can ever say there's nothing going on in LaGrange? I mean, there's so many things that you can be involved in, so exciting. At this time, I'd like to ask Frank Nixon, who would come in.
Thank you. Our guest today is Ariane Weldon, and she has been here before, and we're trying to decide if it was either 10 or 12 years ago, but some of you may remember Ariane is the executive director for Get Georgia Reading. She has participated in a number of things here, helping with Get True Reading. You know her expertise and her commitment to literacy. Ariane, as I said, is the director of Get Georgia Reading. Her work includes connecting decision makers across Georgia to create conditions essential to achieve measurably better outcomes for children, families, and communities. In this role, she applies her background in public health to help community and statewide leadership data and research to employ new, many times unexpected solutions. Ariane coined the concept of language nutrition, which I'm sure she will tell you a little bit about. That was one of the things that got my attention when I first heard her a number of years ago, make a presentation. And that's widely used in health and education research and practice. She's also a member of the governing board of the Kendra Duncan Deal Center for Early Languages and Literacy, and serves as a member of the state reading task force, which was convened by the Georgia Professional Standards Commission, who licenses our teachers, and also the university system in Georgia, to examine and recommend revisions to current literacy and reading standards and requirements to ensure evidence-based practices shown to improve the teaching of reading are addressed in teacher preparation programs. And I'm reading this in specifying those words because Ariane always likes to stress the fact that her research and her programs are evidence-based, they're fact-based. These are not things that somebody just dreamed up over dinner last night. These are long-term programs that have been shown to work. She was a tremendous help to me while I was in the education committee. Anytime we were talking about education-related issues, especially literacy, and as you know, every year, literacy is a big deal. The problem is we do a lot of talking, but we don't do a lot of work on it. And if we do some work on it, we change, but every 2 years, we never give anything time to work. The thing that I like about what Ariane is doing, it is really what I call a holistic approach, where you're looking at a child from pregnancy through their early learning time, reading by third grade, all the way through high school, and even graduation and beyond. So that's why I'm kind of reading this and trying to specify those things. She's a recipient of the Georgia Association of Nurses Hero Award, the Georgia Senate Yellow Rose D.P. Randall Servant Leader Award, and the Black Child Development Institute's Community Leadership Award. She holds a BA from Georgia State University and a Master's in Public Health from Emory University's Rawlings School of Public Health. And the last thing I'll tell you that's interesting about it, her degree, her master's degree is in epidemiology. So I think she's a good participant to have to talk about the epidemic we have of a lack of literacy, and the need we have for literacy. So Ariane, if you would please come and let's give her a warm welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to say a special thanks to Randy Nick. He's been such an incredible partner and also a member of Get Your Dream Cabinet. And there's a few other things that I'll mention around folks in this room as they go through today. So, make sure. Oh, one. Okay.
Okay. Maybe we just need it timed out. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So I'll let you in on a little secret that the Get Your Reading campaign was formed in 2012. Nationally, there was an effort that started in 2010 that started growing around the nation. But really, it was formed to boost a powerful predictor of high school graduation rates and overall quality of life. So that was the idea, was that we really needed to move the needle on high school graduation rates and quality of life. Research shows that students who don't read proficiently by the end of third grade are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school compared to those who can read proficiently. We're very lucky in Georgia because we have a lot of incredible partners. Our partners at the Governor's Office of Student Achievement did a really important analysis. I had worked with them on this, and the question was, could we look at third grade reading outcomes and look at those same students' high school graduation rates so that we would know even more in Georgia. So for the first time in 2017, we had enough years of data to do this analysis. And you can see that for those that did not really meet close to where we need them to be compared to those who were closer to proficient, the high school graduation rates were nearly a 30 percentage point difference. What was really interesting is we also looked at it by suburb, and it became even more of an issue that it is a really powerful quality of life indicator. So you actually see the same impact for economically disadvantaged, English language learners, students with disabilities. Again, you see a significant difference between those that were closer to reading proficiently. And then take a look at this one. What do you see in this slide? About the same, exactly. So this was really powerful, and actually our friend Roxanne Todd, who's now the president of Columbus Technical College, she was the executive director of the Governor's Office of Student Achievement at the time. And, I had asked, could we do this analysis? When they first had the report, she called me and said, thank you for asking us to do this analysis. So they had never looked at that. Now, I'm really excited because this year we're gonna have enough years of data finally, where we're gonna be able to use the milestones to run the same analysis. My prediction is that it's actually gonna be a stronger connection, because this is what some of us call the old low bar theory, right? Like, I mean, I think for some of you who remember that, even this makes such a difference. So, with leadership from the governor's office, partners from around the state, public and private agencies, not just education alone, and that was a big deal, is that so many different sectors came together. The purpose was to craft a framework for action. So at the time, there was no shared language or shared understanding of what we were all looking for. We all said, yes, third grade reading was, that's right, we want to get third grade reading. But what are the conditions we would see when we're successful, right? That was the thing, we didn't actually have a definition of what we would see when all kids are reading, which would present some opportunities. So we took a new approach, and you already heard, you heard the news here from Randy. We took an epidemiological approach. So when I was asked to kind of serve in a coordinating for this campaign, I was like, I think we're gonna have to use an approach that I'm comfortable with, and I really think everybody else is gonna begin to be comfortable with. Everybody started becoming a junior epidemiologist even before they experienced the pandemic, so now everybody knows what epidemiology is. But these are just basic tenets from epidemiology, and I grew up in a family that we lived all over the world. My father was on the smallpox eradication team, and just with those basic epidemiology. But the truth is, diseases don't occur by chance. So if things don't occur by chance, there are always factors. There are always factors, there are always patterns of factors. If you see patterns of factors linked to that outcome, that's a clue. And the truth is, the same is true with literacy. It doesn't occur by chance. We know that more now than ever before. There are always factors that influence literacy to occur, and it's not random. Which means, if something's random, you kind of can't get your head around it, you get kind of nervous. What are we going to do? In another way, I like to say this, in summarizing that slide, is there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And that's really what I've been trying to get people to look at, because you're not noticing things. If you notice some things, you have an opportunity. So the question to this large group that represents so many folks, and now we have people from around the state here in this room, what factors influence a child's path to literacy? That question had not really been asked. So at the time when we started the campaign, it was sort of, teachers need to teach reading better, and it's all education's fault. And it was like, wait a minute. If we have, I think at the time, we were 68%, close to 70% of kids not reading proficiently. It can't be one thing alone. Like, it can't be one thing that explains that much of a population. It's impossible. We know that from epidemiology. So we challenged everybody to take and venture and start exploring. And we start from the beginning. So child literacy starts with family literacy. Maternal level of education is one of the most powerful predictors of a child's path to literacy, and that calls for 2-generation approaches that support family literacy. And I heard we have somebody from technical college, but our technical college partners and really supporting adult literacy is crucial. Okay. So birth outcomes. I think at our table today, we were talking a little bit about that. So premature birth. So there's what you see on this slide is a dose-response relationship between week of gestation, not achieving reading, writing, and math outcomes at age 7. So every week, babies are born earlier. So every week, babies are born closer to term. That also links to kids being on a path to literacy. And I've told Brady, I'm always gotta put something new in here, even though it may be a little dangerous because I represent these like that. But, I don't want to get bored of myself. So this is what it looks like in Georgia. This is our preterm birth rate. And this rate, this trend reflects now, and we are far higher than the national rate. It's important to look at this because we used to be high, then we got it down, and we've been going up steadily. So this is concerning. And it's concerning because you may not know this, but at 35 weeks, an infant's brain is only 2/3 of the size it will weigh just a few weeks later. So oftentimes, my background is in perinatal and maternal child health. So if I take preterm, sometimes we're thinking little teeny tiny. We're not realizing 35 weeks. A baby born at 35 weeks may not even be low birth weight. But the brain is 2/3 of the size of the weigh just a few weeks later. And I want to show a little bit more of what that looks like. So what you see here on the left side of the slide, you see it's not quite as well developed. I just wanted you to see like exactly what that means, right? And you see these areas that haven't formed yet. So when we talk about early brain development, sometimes we need to be very concrete. So I like putting these in here, and this is from New England Journal of Medicine from 2023. And to take a little bit of a deeper look at what that means is, in preterm babies, the areas of the brain that are foundational, that are paramount for language, literacy, emotional regulation, mental health, and the executive function are significantly less developed. Now, the good thing is, those things can develop, but that develops with interaction with the parent or caregiver. Actually, just simply holding makes a difference. You don't even have to breathe together. Just holding, interacting, maybe grows brain. This is our late preterm birth rate in Georgia. And it's something that I've been trying, and maybe knows this, I've been engaging with people to make sure this is getting on, because we need to know about this. Yes, we need to prevent this as well, but there's things we can do, and that means we have other partners to engage. And I'll give another example of what we can do about it. And I always like to go all the way up, right? Because compared with students born at term, moderate, and even late preterm birth significantly increases rates of suspension, chronic absenteeism, and below proficiency in daily math. So that presents one other factor. Quality child care. I think Turk County knows a lot about quality child care. So quality child care, and I think Georgia's done an incredible job of increasing availability of affordable quality care. And quality child care directly impacts social development, emotional regulation, and language development. And speaking of language development, and I think Helen has really we've been working a bit on this too with language submitting. Language development is the foundation for literacy. Now, language development occurs in responsive relationships. So that's what happens is before language, you have to have engagement, and engagement produces language. So what is less known is that engagement through frequent interactions with caregivers, educators, and peers is the fuel for language development. And that social interaction with caregivers, educators, and peers, that is language nutrition. So I don't know if we often think about language. Sometimes we think about words, we think about voices, we think about but language is really a vehicle by which we communicate needs, formulate ideas, develop and maintain relationships. I mean, I don't think any of us can even imagine being without language. We also have inner language. We might not think about that. But inner dialogue, if you ever get up in the morning and you're feeling a little overwhelmed because you have so many things on your list, I think a lot of us can relate to that. And so whether or not you physically write a to-do list down or you're organizing it in your head, you're using your inner dialogue and your cortisol level actually decreases. So what we know from research is that language development has a significant protective effect against the development of depression and anxiety. So sometimes if we have, we're interested in mental health over here, we're interested in literacy over here, we're interested in The truth is, language actually helps, it's a foundation for literacy, but it also is protective against the development of depression and anxiety. And language development significantly predicts third grade literacy and math outcomes. So on this slide, you see here that kids with sort of that typical spectrum achieve 61% of the time in building proficiency compared to only 15%. I think that's actually high. I don't think anybody would be close to 15%, but you see significant difference. And when children don't have language, their behavior becomes their language. I do want to recognize too, this is from Judge Becky Walker and Judge Emeritus. So Judge Walker is now a senior judge, and then your very own Judge Shahid has also been an incredible partner in this campaign. Actually, all of the two court judges in Georgia. And this is a quote from Judge Becky Walker that I think everybody relates to this, which presents a clue in and of itself, and Judge Walker knew that. Judge Walker is an expert in early brain development. And so she understood that the truth is we're trying to figure out this behavior indicates something else. So speaking of behavior, and I'll mention this too, but out of school suspension in early grades. So a lot of times we may look at behavior and we may not think about things that are sort of driving what looks like behavior. But if we suspend children beginning in pre-K or K, it's going to significantly change the direction. Everybody kind of loses out. And there are things you can do about it, and I get to make a great shout out about Crazy again for the end of this talk. School climate. So look at this. So the relationship between school climate ratings and third grade reading. Now, the last time we had the ratings order was 2018. But they're getting ready to change it again. I think this will be the first time, the first year since the pandemic. But you see a direct relationship. So school climate includes attendance, suspension. It's actually not just student attendance, it's also staff attendance. And then questions from the Georgia Student Health Survey. So that's another factor. Now, absenteeism. So not attending school. That's pretty straightforward, right? If you're not there, you can't learn. This was a really powerful study. Dr. McGivney was the co-author of this study, that missing school beginning in the 6th day of absence anytime throughout the year begins to impact, whether it's suspension or illness or whatever. And I want to take you through a few important slides on this, and we just on the cabinet just finished a really large report on attendance in Georgia. It's 83 pages. It's chock full of not just what the research is showing and what the data show, but many, many strategies that can be implemented. Now, here's our first blush, right? So our 5-year trend and some 6-year trend. I forgot to say it. I put it in 24 days. So what you see here is that kids missing over 15 days of school has dramatically increased, right? So dramatically increased since the pandemic and it's staying high. Staying very high. Now, if you just look at it this way, you don't see as much as when you start to look at it in different ways. So we may be the first ones. I haven't seen anyone else do this by grade level. But I said, we got to look at this by grade level. So you really begin to see some patterns that inform action, right? So if you kind of look at it this way, you may not see, wait a minute. We may need to think about something specific for families with their youngest children, right? And pre-K and 1. I mean, so you've got a quarter of students missing. And so many kids missing those foundational years. So what does that mean and what does that look like? And it may call for something different when you look up at high school. And when you start looking at high school, you look at things where maybe you need partnerships with businesses and some of those pathways, we begin to see important thing to think about students staying in school. And then also disaggregating by the different subgroups. And the economically disadvantaged and non-economically disadvantaged, you can see is double, right? So 27% of kids who are economically disadvantaged are missing more than 15 days of school compared to 13% who are non. This is the last factor, so I'm thinking through a whole lot of these factors. But health barriers to learning. Sometimes it's obvious, but we don't often think about it. Vision problems and hearing problems. So vision and hearing problems directly relate to literacy, directly. And there's not a rule in Georgia that all children should have their vision and hearing checked regularly. We don't have that. There are recommendations from the American Academy of Pediatrics. When you enroll your child in school, you have to submit a form that says that they had their hearing and vision and dental and nutrition checked. There is zero requirement on anything that has to happen with that. The requirement is that a form has to be on file. So sometimes it might even ask, can you just check what's in that filing cabinet? What do those forms say? Like, does they need further evaluation? But really, if you only have your vision checked or hearing checked when you enter pre-K, things can change a lot later. I am really excited. I think Kirk County school system has really taken on vision. Are you also doing hearing? I think both, right? And third. And then Meriwether County also just started as well. So this area of things begins to do really kind of exciting. The Meriwether did that too. They started doing, I forget the grade levels, but it's multiple grade levels in checking vision and hearing. There are many states that actually have requirements around checking vision and hearing data. The other thing that happens is not just literacy. That'll actually directly impact how the school spending. Because what happens is if you have a vision problem and you're getting frustrated, you also don't know you have a vision problem because really you may act out. You get really frustrated, you may act out. We've actually seen a lot of that relationship between vision and hearing problems. There's also uncontrolled asthma is one of the leading health conditions related to people. And then dental problems and food insecurity. So vision problems, on average, 25 to 30% of them have correctable vision problems. Correctable is a really important point, right? So if you know there's a vision problem, most cases it's a refractive error, which calls for glasses, so that can take care of that. So we went from just kind of saying it's all the teachers and that's the issue, to looking at a range of factors that call for multiple partners. It's all of us working together. So what we did, the agreement among all the partners was that we needed to craft a framework for action. And why we needed a framework for action is that we needed a shared language and a shared understanding of what a successful path to literacy starting from birth looks like. So that was the agreement, is we would sort of define those conditions. So I want to walk through these definitions. They're very short, but I want you to take a look at these. And I'm very proud because Kirk County has been using this framework for many years. Yeah. So I'll walk through these. Language nutrition. So as I'm reading these definitions, the purpose is for you to think about, I'm sitting in my community and I would see that these things are happening. In Kirk County, all children in Kirk County experience abundant, positive, language-rich social interactions with caregivers, educators, and peers, starting from birth, but going all the way up. What's interesting in putting in, we updated the standards for the teaching of reading. So that was the work with the Georgia Professional Standards Commission and the University System of Georgia, is we actually hadn't really looked at how are we encouraging and supporting language development in K-12, not only in birth to 5. So we had left it only in birth to 5, but we hadn't really continued it. So the second pillar, access. All children and their families have access to and support for healthy development, emotional well-being, and educational achievement. Now, what we did with this one, because access is a little bit of a nebulous term, but it's not, because we use the word a lot. And so we really need to define what we meant. So we all said, let's go to the people who know access the best. We went to supply chain engineers. And we have Georgia Tech, so we're kind of lucky that we have that place. These were supply chain engineers who helped us figure out what access means, and this is a rubric. And I really do encourage all communities to use this for decision making. Whether you're working on an education issue, it really doesn't matter. So if you want to see where you're being successful or not successful, you would address not only awareness, do people know about it, but notice here that people are informed about the resource, what the benefits are, and why it matters to them. So it's not enough just to say we have free something available. People need to understand why does that matter for me, right? And then affordability. But what we really went into was accommodating, acceptable, are we considering the population in the way we're designing services, and we're running a tutoring program. If we're being successful, if we're getting the people, we're getting enough people, we're trying to reach, take a look at what it is that you're doing so you can do more of it. Oftentimes, we don't even ask the question, what's working well, and how can we do more of that? That's really something we overlook. We often look at what's not going well and try to fix it. We should continue to do that, but we miss out opportunities. The third pillar, positive learning climate. I would see all children feeling safe and nurtured from the early years through the early grade and all the way through, so they can learn and grow both emotionally and academically. And then the pillar that was all by itself. This was all by itself at the very beginning. It was all about teachers alone. But notice here that this is a little bit of an expanded definition that caregivers, so that parents as well, I think we talked about that at our table, and educators are equipped with evidence-informed skills to effectively engage children through developmentally responsive practice. So, campaign partners are using the 4 pillars as a framework for collective action, and I want to first give a shout out to Get Troop Breathing. So, you've got your very young Kim Myers here, and partners in Troop County that have been putting this framework into place. A big thanks to Randy Nix. I believe you were one of the first states to do this, sponsored House Bill 740 to address preschool through 3rd grade out of school suspension. And this bill addresses underlying factors like uncorrected vision problems and the need for developmentally responsive classroom practices. So really putting in a multi-systemic approach before we just suspend kindergarten. And so what's going on, what can we do about it? Again, Perth County, this is the baby rates and baby burdens, and actually that led to the baby growth and the baby boom and so many communities around the state. This is around school systems partnering to reach families with newborns and then continuing all the way up. So this is really powerful that school systems would reach families with newborns and create that pathway all the way up. I mentioned that part about premature birth and hospitalization in the newborn period, and I want you to know there are things that everybody can do about that. So supporting parental presence in neonatal intensive care is actually one of the best things you can do for those that are at the highest risk of not being on the path to literacy. Even those that look like they're okay, right? Again, that 35 weeks, 36 weeks is still preterm. And hospitalization in the newborn period is an adverse childhood experience. And we actually create a buffer with that adverse childhood experience by having a caregiver there and by having that caregiver be able to have face-to-face contact. So supporting parents to engage in the care of their infants in the NICU significantly and positively contributes to their social, physical, emotional, mental health development. It also helps to decrease rates of maternal depression. And our most common barriers to parental presence are lodging, food, and transportation. There's a couple of United Ways in Georgia that have a fund for women and using that fund to support families to be able to go to the NICU. So let's say, I know Liberty County is one of those, so they'll support families in being able to go to Memorial Health in Savannah so they can be with their kids. We do have some Ronald McDonald houses, they're almost always full, there's like 12 beds, and they're there for all types of things. So that's something, even if you don't think about having high level NICU in your own community, because I think the one here would be Canada or Wellstar. I'm not sure the NICU level here, but maybe the one next door in Carroll, maybe the higher level one. Columbus, maybe regional, yeah, that's your regional perinatal center. So being able to support parents and being with their babies, that grows the brain matter. Just simply holding the baby, that's skin to contact, grows brain matter. And so even if you don't think you can do something because you're not a neonatal, you're not a neonatologist, you're not, nurse, just making sure our parents can be with their babies when they're born makes a difference. I also am very excited about this for language and missing link. So language and missing link is a set of concepts, tools, and practices to address the gap between what we know about language and what we do. So I'm giving you an example of the set of concepts, tools, and practices. They're completely free. I'm very proud to say they're on the website of the Deal Center, and I have a QR code on the next slide. But I want to give this one specific example because I encourage you to do a little field trip because it's not that far, right? Columbus Technical College. So using these free tools, resources, and practices, Columbus Technical College seamlessly integrated them into their early care and education curriculum, into one of the required classes. And they also developed a credential that's available statewide. They put it in the platform system, so any town and college in the state can use it. They awarded 117 badges. They just started in February. They expect or have 180. This is the QR code. I'd encourage you to grab that, and I'll also send slides out to go over one and be able to take advantage of that. That is a great resource. This toolkit is designed for people who work with children from birth up through adulthood. It's actually adult and students are benefiting from this as well. And hopefully you grab that code and those are just a few examples. Thank you for that.
So much, we appreciate the great data, just the information that we shared, and hopefully it's inspired some of us to also join Connor and having a great Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or day of the week to help reach our children. So, thank you. Just a couple of quick announcements before we dismiss. Don't forget we have a board meeting just as soon as we do dismiss. Next week, happy Thanksgiving. We will not meet on Wednesday, so enjoy your day preparing for Thursday. Hopefully you all have plans with your family and friends and we'll have a very enjoyable holiday. December 4th, we'll be back here with John Mott from Storyville Entertainment. And then December 11th, we'll have Craig Musso with CSX. So with that, if you would stand and we'll do the four-way test and we'll see you. So the four-way test of the things you think, say, and do. Is this true? Thank you all so much. Come back and join us. We got next.
Way about email because we did do it. I did apologize 4 different times, and we asked you 3 times
if you had someone, because the group decided, hey, so many.
Yeah.
And we are, that we decide, if you have someone, we'll be glad to speak to them, and we still will.
Yeah,